I'm starting to believe that truly great things can come out of very few numbers of people if the methodology is left flexible and the goals are clearly stated, and almost the rest of it doesn't matter. You know, let them choose. You know, they don't have to fit my mold. They just have to accomplish what the corporation has said they need, that within broad brushes, what the corporation needs for its business model. All the really big dollar items always came from parts of the company that had nothing to do with the ongoing product. I mean, they were sort of what I call F troops. And I've always believed in these F troops, places where you could let them bring their dogs to work and give them give their dogs a badge, and let them have a refrigerator with beer in it, you know, which you can't do in the general corporation, but you can generally give certain freedoms to the creative sides, and that's sort of the milk, the mother's milk of the creative process. If you can do that, you can keep the truly creative. Another thing is that some of the creative people abide fools very poorly. And so what a lot of times you have to do is almost create a bubble for them to be in. Otherwise, they're just in the face of the other managers, and the managers want to throw them out the window. And so you kind of have to create these buffer zones for the truly creative. And sometimes some real creative people have exceeded my threshold, and I've had to throw them out the window. You know, I mean, because because after a time, sometimes the real prima donnas are just too much to bear, and you say, no amount of creative thought is worth this. But my threshold is much further than what I'd call the typical Wall Street type. Cadillac Chevy conundrum, in which an incompetent marketer never believes that they know how to sell anything, and so they want to cheat. And so they will define a product that has all the features of a Cadillac and price it like a Chevy and say, I can sell that. And so then the engineer goes through this process of designing a Cadillac, but when the quotes come back from manufacturing, it is priced like a Cadillac. Well, the marketer goes, oh my God, I can't compete with Cadillac prices in the Cadillac market. I can only compete, because I'm an idiot, I can only compete with a Cadillac in the Chevy market, priced like a Chevy. And so then the engineer has to come in and de-feature his product for cost reasons. And slowly but surely, he's got a Chevy, and it's at the Chevy prices. And the marketer says, oh my God, what are we going to do? And so what happens in that case is there is a lack of sensitivity on the part of management to the real world. I think of myself as an economic editor, a little bit, or a business engineer, in which I take concepts, people, and capital, and I mash them together and create something. So I can't say that I was the father of the video game if you're talking about playing a game on a CRT. It wasn't. That wasn't me. that was Russell and some of the guys at MIT early on. I played their games when I was in college, so I stand on their shoulders. What I did is I made the thing economic. I published in an economic fashion new games, yes, creative games, yes, but in an economic structure that worked, that made sense. And so, in some ways, you know, the thing that I did was an economic thing, more than a real creative thing, though there was a lot of creative thought going into a lot of those issues.